If you could go back to one particular year in your life, which year would you pick? That was the most exciting, that you'd love to relive again, knowing what you know now?
Well, that really is a tough question, and I don't actually have a year that was a favourite, because, you know, each year, well, they were all good in their way. There was always something in it. I mean, there's bad things in every year that everybody goes through, no matter what they do for a living. So no, I suppose if there was an age that I'd like to be forever and a day, it would be most probably late 30s.
Late 30s.
Yes.
Okay.
Late 30s.
We'll write that down.
Yeah, now that I'm in my early 40s, of course.
I'll talk to somebody about it.
Yeah.
Had the Sydney experience, then of course it was overseas. And well, it all happened for you once you got overseas. You had a wonderful break. Tell us about that.
Well, I decided to go to London because I suppose in Australia we'd kind of reached as far as we thought I could go at that time. I met Gordon Mills and Tom Jones at the Silver Spade Hotel in Sydney, and they did the usual thing. Oh, mate, if you come over to, you know, come over to London, you know, you look us up. Here's my card. Yeah. So anyway, I turned up, and it was, who are you? And I got to know Tom very well over a lot of years, and he's a beautiful man. And even today, he hasn't changed an awful lot as far as himself is concerned. And I signed up to their label, and I used to do a lot of his demos, as a matter of fact, or demos for him, for Humperdinck, and people like that, because it was kind of hard to get a recording contract at that time and get your records out. So yeah, that was how I made a living for a short time.
But by now, the fact that you were doing demos for Tom Jones, you had classed yourself or put yourself in the category of the big ballad singer. You know, you look good, and you had this wonderful voice, and you know, the Delilahs and the all those types of songs. Is that where you felt at home? Is that what you really loved, doing that type of music?
Well, I suppose I was pigeonholed to a certain extent, because I mean, I had the kind of big voice, but I always thought that I could, you know, sing a lot of different styles, because I was brought up through rock, you know, and blues and soul. And I didn't really want to go into that big ballad thing, because at the time you had Tom, you had Humperdinck, John Rolls had just hit it with If I Only Had Time, and then Hush Not a Word to Mary. And but they made the decision that I would do certain style, and so I did. And I mean, you're never going to compete against those three who have had that initial success.
So they cornered the market in a way.
Well, yes. I mean, you know, you can't. I mean, Jones has one of the greatest ballad voices ever, especially in his prime. You know, and Humperdinck was always a good balladeer as well, I thought. And Rolls on I've Only Had Time and Hush Not a Word to Mary and One Day. I mean, those are beautiful examples of how a ballad should be sung, you know, and I believe I'm just as good a singer as those three. So I went into that area, but I never felt comfortable that I would get a record that would challenge in the charts in Britain, and so it proved, really. You know, I had little bites.
When you were doing those demos for Tom Jones, did you not think at one stage, oh, this is a beauty, I wonder if I could, I'll put that in my pocket?
Well, I didn't really have a choice, of course, because the songwriters kind of...
They wanted Tom to
kind of, oh, well, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, what, Tom Jones, Frankie Stevens. Tom Jones, Frankie Stevens, who should record the song? Well, no choice, really.
Now, you came back to New Zealand. We've got a certain amount of time, but I do want to cover the fact that what did New Zealand Idol do for Frankie Stevens?
Well, New Zealand Idol really, I suppose, reintroduced me to the audience that knew me already, and an audience that didn't. And I mean, if you're, some would say, invading people's living rooms 2 nights a week, you know, for that long, something's got to happen, and then you become instantly recognisable. The thing I like about New Zealanders is that when you do become an instantly recognised person on the street, that the vast majority, 99%, They come up, ask you for an autograph or say hello. Hey, Frankie. Yeah. And you look around as though you're supposed to know them, but you don't. Yeah. But they know you.
Yes, exactly.
You know, and they're polite and they're good, and that makes you feel good. Every now and then there's somebody who's, you know, gives you a bit of a hard time, but you know, I'm from Upper Hutt, you know, and I can give it right back. Even at my tender age of mid-40s. Yeah.
So are we allowed to ask how old Frankie Stevens is now?
Well, Frankie Stevens is younger than John Rolls. But not by much.
And he's very young.
He is. Well, he's late 40s.
Oh, that's wonderful. I'm sure many viewers would like to know, how many children?
I have two girls. Who are grown up now.
Yeah. And they've got children as well, have they?
One of them has. Taryn, the youngest, got married recently. Or about a year ago, as a matter of fact, and my daughter Amanda has 3 children. So yeah. So
you're a granddad.
Yeah, yes, I am. I actually prefer the word koro.
Koro.
Yeah, because most people don't know what it means. If somebody calls you koro, you know, you're kind of, yeah, kia ora, kia ora.
But you're here today for the singles collection, and it's, you know, I've played it, I've had it on the background, I've really enjoyed it. So it's 27 tracks,
27 tracks, and they're all different styles. There's a bit of country and western on there, a bit of soul, you know, middle rock style.
So we want all our viewers to go in and ask for the new Frankie Stevens.
Well, yes, and if they don't have it in stock because it's all sold out, then just, you know, order it. You know,
exactly.
I mean, that's all they have to do. Order it.
It's so simple. Have you got a website?
Yes, Frankie Stevens, www.frankiestevens, or one word, Frankiestevens.com.
Looking back over life, the journey, what's it all been about for Frankie Stevens?
The journey, as John Mitchell used to say. Yeah. Well, it's been a great life, really. All the ups and downs that I think everybody has through their lifetime. And experiences second to none. Good ones, bad ones, great ones. I've met some beautiful people along the way, and a few. But, you know, and most probably done a lot of things that I shouldn't have done, but I most probably do them again. You know, I don't have any regrets. Yeah. I really don't, because you can't fix regrets. You know, I mean, you really can't.
Regrets.
I've had a few,
but there again.
Yeah, well, the great Sinatra.
So I sort of wondered whether you might have liked to have sung My Way.
I have sung that many times. Yeah. The funny thing is, I did that song, oh geez, must be 30 years ago, not long after Sinatra actually brought it out, I think it was. And I remember standing on stage and singing, and a guy came up to me afterwards at the bar, I'm just having a beer, and he said, mate, you sang that, what he said, mate, he said, you sang that song.
Beautifully.
Beautifully, absolutely fantastically. He said, but I did not think you meant it. Oh. And I said, okay. And he said, I don't mean that badly. He says, you're a young man, you haven't lived your life, and you're singing a song about somebody at the end of their time. Yeah, yes, you know, exactly. And I took that in, because he was absolutely right. It's like,
you know that when you sing it today, you have a totally...
Well, I have a total understanding of the story of the song. It's like if on Idol, if I say to a kid, wrong song for you. Yeah. Because some young performers, like I did and like everybody has done before, pick the wrong song simply because they like the song. Yeah. But they don't match it up with their heart, their soul, their own story. So they have to pick the right song, not just one that suits their voice.
Frankie Stevens. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Thank you. We've really enjoyed your visit today, and I'm sure we'll have to think up an excuse for you to come back and talk to us again.
Well, I'd love to, and hopefully the beat will just keep on keeping on. I like it. I like it.
Thank you, Frankie.
Pleasure.
With wine.